important skills to move forward. The other course you're going to take is a course called Science Research, where we teach you how to read, write, and think like scientists. You'll do science in the news. And then the other big part of that in the class you saw with Mr. Latchford in the video was a ninth grade science research course. What we ask all of our ninth graders to do in that course is to write a research paper about an area of interest for you in science. So think of something you're interested in. It could be concussions in football. Somebody did prosthetics with animals because she wanted to be a vet when she grew up. So a huge range, whatever you want. And you're going to write a 3-page research paper about it. And we support you and take you through every step of that research project, because the other thing that we think, even though we're a STEM school, that research and writing and communication are really, really important. And so we want to teach you and support you how to do that, because we're going to expect that you do research papers every year with us, and they get longer and longer each year, but we support you the entire way through. But we know that if you go to college and you're not ready to write a research paper, you're in big trouble. And so we really pair around that. After ninth grade, or about midway through ninth grade, you're going to pick your courses for 10th grade and moving forward. We have 16 AP courses. So AP courses are advanced placement courses. They're essentially college level courses that you take in high school. We have them in all 4 core content areas and 2 computer science AP courses. And really what we want to do is we expect all of our students to take AP courses. We're going to push you to those AP courses, and we're going to support you along the way. So for instance, if you want to be a doctor or a nurse and you want to take AP biology, you're going to take anatomy as a 10th grader and AP bio as an 11th grader. So we support you in seeing that course sequence, and we want to help you find courses that you're interested in, because as I shared earlier, we want our students to be happy. Part of being happy is having choices. So students in our school aren't just placed into random electives. You pick all your courses. Now, there's some of those courses you have to take to graduate high school, so we can't get out of those. Range of we have dance, we have robotics, we have a journalism course, and so there's a huge range to make sure that we're meeting your interests. We have an orchestra course, so you can continue music if you're already into that. And then, so that's the academic program. And then we also think extracurriculars are really important. So I tell the students here all the time, you're going to learn a whole lot more outside the 4 walls of this school than you do inside of it. And so we want to get you out into internships. We think sports are really important. We have 26 varsity and junior varsity sports teams. We have a huge range of clubs. We have 4 different robotics teams. We have a chess club. We have mock trial. We have debate. We have Dungeons and Dragons. We have anime. We have Christian fellowship. It's a huge range. Whatever you're interested in, we want to make sure we can provide it. And we want to give you an outlet to do that. Students at our school stay beyond 3 o'clock pretty typically, because there's so much going on in our school. Our cross-country team has reached the state championship 2 years in a row. Our indoor track team won the public league championship last year. Our girls basketball team has qualified for states 3 years in a row. And so we really take pride in having all of that. Our boys basketball team has a huge game against Central every year. That's a lot of fun. And so we really want to promote school spirit. We really want you involved in the school. We want you to enjoy coming to school. You keep hearing me say that. It's not a coincidence. We think it's really important to us. Are there any sports teams that I didn't mention that you're interested in? So baseball, soccer, volleyball, boys and girls basketball. Did I miss anything? We have badminton. Our bowling team, our boys bowling went to states last year. That was really exciting. All right, I'm going to trust that if you have questions, you're going to answer them. Because listen, I think engineering and science is the best school in the city, and I can talk all day long about it. All right, let's jump right into it. We don't have floor hockey, but you will play that in gym. So what's the difference between ENS and Central and Northeast Magnet? Let's jump right into it. Who asked that question? Melvin. Thank you for that question, Melvin. So here's the difference. I really think it's about the size and the scale of the school. So Central, like, it's okay. You know, it's all right. Central has anything and everything. But there's 2,400 students there. And it's really hard to find your place. And I'm not trying to criticize Central, and I've said this to Mr. McKenna, and he and I have talked about it. It's really hard to find your place at Central. And at ENS, we don't have everything that Central offers. They have more programming, they have more clubs, they have more sports teams because they're so much bigger than we are. But we think we offer a lot of programming and a lot of courses, and our goal is that every single person in our school has something that they're connected to. And we have found that through the programming we offer and the courses we offer that we're pretty successful in doing that. And I think, and again, I'm pretty biased, that it's much easier to find your place at ENS than it is to find your place at Central or Northeast because of the size. And some people are comfortable with that. Some people say, I want to go to the biggest place I can find, and I'm going to find my way through. Some people, I'll speak for myself, I always felt this way. I'd much rather be a big fish in a small pond. And at ENS, you can be a big fish in a small pond. And I'll just also put in the other point of comparison is another school like SLA. SLA is teeny tiny, and they're going to get to know you really well. SLA will know you inside and out. And I see that question about acceptance. I'm going to get to it in 1 second. SLA is going to get to know you really well, but SLA does not have the scope of programming that the other schools have. So it's really what your comfort level is. And coming from a school like Baldi, you're going to both have choices, but you're also going to have to experience different types of school given the size, and you all know how to navigate that in different ways than some of your peers across the city. So what do we take for admissions? So let's jump to admissions. And I promise I'm going to come to the question. Let me talk about how we do admissions. So we look at 4 criteria, and we balance them. We look at your grades. Actually, I take that back. Grades are most important. We take grades really seriously. We look for all A's and B's. I want to know that you come to school every day and you do your homework and you study for your tests. And what your grades tell me is what you do over the course of 180 days. And that's really important. So we look at grades. We do look at your PSSA scores. 80th percentile is our cutoff. I get questions all the time. What if I'm in the 75th percentile? You're probably just fine. So we look for that PSSAs, but the PSSAs tell me what you did for 1 week in April, not what you did over the course of your full year. So we really look at grades. We take grades we really weigh grades. Then we have the PSSAs. We look at attendance. I want to make sure you come to school every day. I want to make sure you show up on time. Again, students traveling from Baldi down to ENS, that's a little bit of a ways. So we want to make sure you're going to be at school on time because it's important for your academic success. And the next piece, thrust under grades, but second most important, is the 1-page essay. I read every single essay. We get 2,000 applications for 9th grade. I promise you, I will read every single one that comes in. And what we're looking for is, are you a good fit for our school? Will you fit in? And so let me give you some examples. Sometimes we read those essays and students write about, I want to be a doctor or a nurse or an engineer when I grow up. And if I go to ENS, I can take these courses and that's going to prepare me along the way. And we offer electives in robotics and engineering design and civil engineering and architecture. Very few schools in the city have that. So we want to make sure that you know something about us. What we don't want to see, so one of the things we don't have is we don't do a musical every year. We don't have a drama program at our school. Now, I wish we did. We don't. It is what it is, but there's other schools to go to for that. So if you write your whole essay about how when you grow up you want to be an actor or an actress and how in high school you want to be in the school play, that's going to be a problem because we don't offer that. So that's why we look at that essay so clearly and we take it very seriously. 1 page, you can answer the 3 questions, the who am I, what am I going to contribute to my high school, whatever the third one is. But basically what we read it as, am I a good fit for ENS? And I read every single one of them. So please take it seriously. So we receive 2,000 applications. We accept about 550, 600 students, and that turns into 200 students for a 9th grade class. So out of that 2,000, we'll end up with 200. And we know that the students that we accept are the best and brightest, and they have lots of choices. Again, I'm biased. I think I'm sitting in the best school in the city, but it's up to you of where's the best fit for you, and that's the luxury that you get to pick. And I know that Baldi has a lot of really great applicants each year in that way. So that's how we do admissions. So we look at those 4 criteria. We get about 2,000 applications. We end up with about 200, about 550 or 600 are accepted each year to fill those seats. Other questions? Is there a uniform? So we have a very, very simple uniform. You have to wear black or khaki pants, black or tan pants, whatever material you want. And you have to wear a shirt with the school's name on it. So we have a black traditional uniform shirt. But as you saw in that video, you saw lots of different hoodies. You saw lots of different club shirts. There's lots of different ways to wear the uniforms. And one of the things we know is that after you graduate ENS after 4 years, you are going to have 2 drawers full of ENS apparel. And again, we really like that. So we like our gear. There was you saw the ENS swim hoodie. There was a National Honor Society hoodie. There was an honor roll t-shirt. You're going to see all of that, and you're going to earn all of that, and you're going to leave ENS with lots of gear.
Principal Dammers, can you talk a little bit about your partnership, or if you have one, with Temple University? I know you guys are in that neighborhood and you're really close to it. So is there a partnership, and how often do you work with them?
So Temple, just so everybody knows, we are literally on Temple's campus. So to get to our school, I imagine you're going to find your way to the Broad Street line, and then you'll get off at Broad and Cecil B. Moore and walk about 2 blocks to school. So it's actually really accessible. And because we're in the middle of Temple's campus, it provides a really nice blend of building in the college atmosphere around our high school, which we really like. So what do we do with Temple? We have a few different partnerships. So one is dual enrollment. So some of our students are taking courses over at Temple during their senior year. They're taking education courses, and some of our students are taking Calc 3 if they're really advanced in math. We have a partnership with the College of Science and Technology, where some of our students are doing some robotics work. We have a partnership with some of the extra programming out of the College of Education, so things like Upward Bound and different enrichment programs. And then we also have a partnership with their College of Medicine, where some of our students are receiving internship a little bit up Broad Street at the Katz College of Medicine. So lots of different ways that we connect with Temple. How many scholarships are offered? 2 Temple each year, is that what you mean? So last year we had 18 students receive full scholarships to college. We had, as you saw in the video, $18.1 million across about 180 students. So we were pretty thrilled about that. So our students, we really support you to find the right fit, the right college for you, and to make sure that there's money there to pay for it. Temple does not, there's some partnerships that go citywide with Drexel and with Temple, where we can have access, our students have access to full scholarships, but there's nothing specifically for ENS. They should.
So your college acceptance rate is 100%, right?
Yes.
That's great. So what are some of the top colleges that you find a lot of your students going to?
Yeah, so last year's class, we had 2 young ladies go to Cornell for Cornell's engineering program. We sent 3 students to Penn. In the past few years, we've sent students to Swarthmore, to Johns Hopkins, to Wellesley. We have students at Princeton. We have students at Columbia. So really the top schools, and these aren't just for the top students. So the 35th ranked in our senior class last year is one of the students that got into Penn. And the reason I'm so proud of that is because that just shows the depth of our senior class, and that's every year right now. And so there are a lot of opportunities for all of our students to make sure that we're offering ways to get into those top schools. And one of the things you'll learn about in a few years is that the higher ranked the school is, the more money they have. And that's where the financial aid comes in, and that's where the scholarships come in. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but that's what we want you to shoot for the stars. One of the big things we talk about a lot when you come in as a 9th grader is 9th grade honor roll. We set a goal every year that 75% of our 9th graders make honor roll at the end of freshman year. And we think that is so important because we want you to be successful. We don't bring students in to not have you be successful. Miss Finch just joined us. Hey, Miss Finch. Miss Finch is one of our counselors. We want you to be successful. We want you to achieve everything you can in our school.
Hi, Ms. Fitch. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
No problem. How's everyone?
Doing well. Some really great information. And also, Principal Dammers, we have a lot of call in robotics fantastic robotics program at our school, all sciences and programming. Can you talk a little bit about your robotics program, and is it an extracurricular activity or that students can choose, and those kind of like statewide, nationwide competitions that your students participate in?
Yeah, so we have both. So there's a couple pieces to it. So one is there's an engineering pathway of courses that you can take. So in that, starting in 10th grade, you can take a robotics course. So every day, all year long, you're tinkering with robotics. There's a engineering design, principles of engineering, civil engineering and architecture, and then digital electronics. So those are all engineering courses you can take. And then there's also the after-school program where we have different robotics teams. So depending on your availability, depending on your commitment, depending on your skill, there's different tiers and different levels that you can do. So some of them are doing like VEX robotics. Some of them are doing engineering design competitions. There's a C-Perch program, which I know is in some middle schools, where a couple of years ago, our students went down to Louisiana to compete at nationals for C-Perch, which was pretty cool. And then we have FTC, which is the First Tech, which is the big one that's across the city. We have an all-girls robotics team that 2 years in a row has qualified for states, the Gear Girls, so we're really proud of them. And that's a really great program to be a part of. We also have computer programming. So just like there's an engineering pathway, there's also a computer science pathway where you can take Java honors, and then you can take APCS, and there's 2 different AP computer science courses that you can take. And then we have an after-school club called Cybersecurity, where they are doing, it's sponsored by the FBI, and they're doing how to protect mainframes and things I don't quite understand, but our team is qualified for states a couple of years in a row with that. And there's about 15, 20 students involved with that, and it's a really popular club here.
Great, thank you so much. Some of the other questions a lot of our students ask sometimes, that are, the more high school, 9th grade, what's lunch like? And do students get to, pick their lunchroom, sit with whoever they want? Are lockers available for students? And start and end time, just knowing that a lot of our students are coming from a further portion of the city, what time they would be able to get to school.
Great. So yeah, just some nuts and bolts. So 7:50 to 2:54 is our school day. We know it's a little bit of a distance coming from you all. So 7:50 to 2:54. Like I said, we're right by the Broad Street line. We're right by the number 2 bus to have access to the school there. Lunch is 48 minutes. So we have an 8-period day. Every period is 48 minutes. You saw at the opening of the video, you saw some of the students playing basketball outside, sitting at the picnic benches outside. From the drone, you saw the courtyard that was outside. So during lunch, you can go into the lunchroom, you can go outside, or you can go into our commons, which is our redesigned library. So there's 3 different areas you can go. You can't take food into the commons, but you can go into one of those 3 places and there's a good bit of space for students to find their way during lunch. We think fresh air is really important. We think you work really hard during the school day, so we want to give you that extended 48-minute lunch period to give you that break in the day.
That's fantastic. And do students have access to lockers, and can they go to their locker at any point?
Lockers, yes. So every student receives a locker in the beginning of 9th grade. You'll carry that locker through all 4 years. For the most part, you can go at any point in the day. Our school, again, because our school isn't very big, because it's only 920 students, so you can get to where you need to go pretty easily and hit your locker on the way to your classes as you need.
That's great. Are there any students that want to unmute themselves and ask their question? I don't want your question to get lost, or drop it in the chat and we can answer it for you. While we wait for some students to think. Oh, great.
Any trips outside of Pennsylvania? Great question. Yeah, so we do. So some of the robotics and some of our Quiz Bowl team goes outside of the state sometimes. We also do lots of college trips. So we've done college trips to Howard, to Dell State, to some other places in the region to see other schools, to Rowan outside of Pennsylvania, New Jersey. We also, I should have mentioned this, we have an exchange program. So we have a partner school that's in Frankfurt, Germany, and every other year our students travel to Germany, and then they come back a couple months later and they come and stay with us. So you stay with a host family. About 10 to 12 students do that. So not only do we go outside of Pennsylvania, we go outside of the United States. And so we have this really nice partnership. We've done it 2 times now, and we'll see how it will take shape in this post-COVID world. But we're pretty committed to getting it back going again.
It's a great opportunity. Something that always comes up, and I think because our students are in middle school and maybe the transition to high school, maybe it minimizes its effect, but how does your school handle bullying and harassment? And is your school open to and LGBTQ friendly and friendly to, you know, a diverse student population?
Yeah, so you know, again, we have so I think, you know, you're going to get a biased perspective from me. I think it's a very warm and comforting place. So a couple things I would say are, you know, we have our suspension rate is 1%, which means that 99% of our students never receive a suspension in our school. So we have very few discipline problems. And I think one of the big reasons for that is we work really hard to create a safe space for students. So we want students to feel comfortable. Every single day on the announcements, you're going to hear me come on and say, if you're having a problem with other students, see an adult. We're here to help you solve your problems and make positive choices. Our expectation is that every student in our school has an adult they can go to for additional support. And so when students are having conflicts, they come to adults, they seek us out, and we help solve those problems in a positive way. I am not a yeller by any stretch of the imagination. When students are having conflicts, we sit down and we talk about it and we get to the bottom of it and we contact your parents and we say, here's what's going on and here's the support we need and here's how we can resolve this problem without moving to any sort of discipline problems. Because that doesn't solve it in any way. And when things escalate to violence or physical, it doesn't solve the problem. It just pushes it forward in a different way. So we work really hard to make sure that you feel supported and safe. We have a GSA, a Gender Sexuality Alliance Club. That's a really positive part of our school community. Students, you know, again, I'm biased. I would say students feel, for the most part, incredibly accepted and comfortable in our school to the best of our ability. And it's something that's really important to us. It's something the teachers talk a lot about, is how do we create safe spaces for students? And we want students to feel safe and supported and bring them best selves to the school every day.
Great. A question that came up in one of our sessions yesterday was really what's the goal for your school, the vision for your school, and really the goal for students. You know,
Yeah.
As administrators, we think a lot about academic goals and we think a lot about student goals, but really what's the goal of the vision of your school, and how does that influence students and teachers? And to follow that up, what's the general vibe of teachers that work at AIM?
So what I tell people all the time is very simply, we are not a college prep school, we are a college success school. And so what that means to us, what our vision is, what we're working towards, is to make sure that when you leave our school, you're ready for college and beyond, and that you're going to be successful when you're doing that. We know that, believe it or not, getting into college is not the hard part. It's being successful and being prepared for that transition. And so when we think about that, that's what informs our decision-making at the school level. So that's why we think it's so important that you have choice in your courses, that you have a lot of extracurriculars that you can be involved in, that you know how to build social connections across with different people in a diverse community. Because when you go off to college and you leave high school and you leave your parents' house, those are the skills that you need to be able to take forward. One of the things that we've done in the school over the past 2 years is we've built out a writing center. And the big motivation behind that is because when you go to college, one of the ways that you're going to be successful is when you walk into the writing center and say, I need help. We want to teach you how to ask for help. We tell people all the time at our school, smart people ask for help. And so we want to provide you with those experiences so we can support you with that, so that when you leave our school, you're ready to be successful beyond.
Thank you.
Business clubs and business courses, yes. So we have AP Microeconomics, and we also have there's a business club, and then there's actually, again, I talked about Gear Girls a few moments ago. We have a club called Rock the Street Wall Street. It is an all-girls finance and economic club. that's sponsored by one of the investment banks downtown in Center City, because we want to make sure that our young ladies have those opportunities. Do you look at the first quarter of 8th grade? We do not look at the first quarter of 8th grade. We don't. None of the schools receive that data, and if they should, tell somebody at your school, because they shouldn't. Anything with interior design? Great question. So a big part of interior design is looking at is architecture. And so we do have a civil engineering and architecture course. And one of the things that you're going to learn about in CS1 in that 9th grade computer science course, and then get much more into it when you take engineering courses, is a program called CAD, AutoCAD, which is a design software. We redid our library 2 years ago in a similar way that you had your makerspace done. We did something similar to that. And that AutoCAD software is what all professional architects and professional interior designers are using. And so we want to make sure that you know that software. So that would be a great way to connect into that if that's your goal.
And Principal Thomas, if I'm correct, you have to hop on at 1:30, right?
In about 3 minutes.
You got it. Perfect.
So what we're looking at this year, again, it's a little different than past years because of our disruption. So we're going to look at your 7th grade grades. We look at your 6th grade final grades, so 2 years of report cards. And then we're going to look at 6th grade PSSA scores and 5th grade PSSA scores. And we're going to do our best to balance and see the best in what you offer, because we know that we're looking at a lot. If you're, so we're going to work really hard to make sure that we're seeing the best of you. And again, if you're concerned about one of your grades or one of your test scores, the essay is so important, because that's where we get to know you and know why you're the right fit for our school.
And to build off of that point, 8th graders, remember that if you were not in a Philadelphia school in 5th and 6th grade and you went to a Catholic school or a private school, please be in touch with Ms. Stavrakis so that we can work towards getting your Terra Nova scores or any other standardized test scores that we need. Along with the essay, you have some phenomenal ELA teachers that are in front of you every day. You have me, you have Ms. Stavrakis. So if anybody needs support with their essays, just like Dahmer said, they have a writing center. So as advocating for yourself and reaching out for help if you need it, we can support you in making sure that your essay is what you want it to be if this is the school for you. Okay. So I'd like to take just these last final moments. If there's any final questions, please put them in the chat or unmute yourselves. But thank you so much for your time today, both of you. I know how exhausting it can be in the middle of the day to jump on some of these calls. So I appreciate your support and helping our 8th graders make the best decision for them in this upcoming school year.
Thank you. No, this is a wonderful part of my day to see your little icon, your faces. We'll take the icon that we can get. So we're going to follow up soon. We're going to send out some additional information. If you and your parents want to come to a virtual information session, we're going to have those starting in 2 weeks. We want to hear from you. Let us know. And we hope you apply. We always get great students from Baldi. So thank you so much. And thank you for helping to facilitate and making the time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yes, we'll make sure that any information that you send our way, we post on in Google Classroom. So we will definitely share any information that you have. All right. Terrific. 8th graders, you have 15 minutes until your 1:45 class. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you so much, Ms. Finch and Principal Dahmer. Appreciate it a lot.
Have a great day.
Take care, everyone. You too.
Okay.
Bye, everyone. See you soon.